everyone, Ego here. Welcome to the behind the scenes for Blitz vs Mr. Boss. I know I'm a little bit late to this one, but I wanted to go ahead and cover the battles that I hadn't already done since I do have a lot to say about them. I just didn't get to them when I wanted to, so this one was fun to make. My main goal with this one was to make a project as self-sufficient as possible, and I wanted to do as much of it as I could on my own. Writing, editing, voice acting, art, graphic design, all of that stuff. There are some things that I just suck at, particularly mixing and doing outros. Although I did make my own mix, it just went unused. It's on SoundCloud though. So I had help from Jordy and Cidisswo respectively. The idea for this battle pretty much just came out of nowhere. No one really suggested it and I didn't plan it like I do with most of my other ones. I just thought, hey, what if I did that? And then I got to work. This actually isn't my first time using Blitz. My first Blitz battle was Blitz vs Black Cat from 2021 for my old rap battle series CCRB. It's actually up on this very channel if you want to check it out. While I'm still proud of that one overall, I really fumbled the bag on the Blitz portrayal, which was another big reason I wanted to do this, was so that I could redeem him. This one came together relatively quickly actually. Writing was pretty simple. Initially it was going to be longer, but the short 8-8-8-8 structure felt right for it. There's some details you might have noticed in the writing, like the fact that every single line in Blitz's second verse has at least one swear word in it, which was intentional. This was pretty much a reference to the whole written by Vivziepop meme, which was going around at the time. Originally I wanted there to be a swear counter in the top corner the whole time as a visual gag, but I ultimately decided it'd be too distracting and decided against it. There are some scrap lines to go over, so let's take a look at that before we get into the deeper production stuff. I'm not going to spend as long on it as I did with Granny vs Warden, mostly because there's just not as many to look at, but yeah, there's still some neat stuff I'd like to show you guys. Your scratchy voices, nails on a chalkboard, you got no Moxie, Christ on a stick, I guess there really is a Godfried. This one I really wish I got to include. It's a reference to a quote from the Helluva Boss pilot.
That's what they're saying.
Well, Christ on a stick, I guess there is a God.
As well as a reference to God and Smiling Friends, who is voiced by Gilbert Gottfried, who has a famously annoying voice. Hey, it's me, just letting you know, you picked the worst time to flow, the worst time to flow. So this was going to be Mr. Boss's opener, and I had the idea that Mr. Boss would just call Blitz in the middle of the battle and tell him he picked the worst time to flow, which is a reference to another Mr. Boss quote.
If you can't think of anything,
yeah,
you've already...
You chose the worst time to go. You chose the worst time to go.
We know.
I think it's a funny bit, but it could have been a bit of a pace breaker, so I'm glad I cut it out. The opener I actually went with was definitely way more obscure, but a few people still did catch it, which I'm glad about. Hold out your hand, son, tiny version of Alan. It's an Osmodian L. I want you to have it. This was going to be the original finisher to the battle. It's a reference to the tiny Mr. Boss bit in Smiling Friends.
That's a little version of me, Alan. I want you to have it.
As well as a reference to the scene where Stolas gives Blitz the Osmodian crystal.
Is an Asmodian crystal.
It's funny, but I definitely prefer the reference I went with. And yeah, that's about it for scrapped lines. Like I said, there weren't really nearly as many here. Originally, there were more art stills for this battle as well that went unused. This unfinished one of Loona, and then this completed one of Mr. Boss. It made more sense in my mind to just actually play the clip from the episode to make the reference more obvious, but I think the chain was a funny inclusion. I love stuff like that in battles where characters are given features to make them look more like actual rappers. I liked the idea of contrasting 3D backgrounds with 2D backgrounds for Blitz and Mr. Boss. And hell of a boss, there's a few 3D shots. Plus, I really liked this i.m.p. office model I found for Blitz. I also found this model of Blitz's apartment I wanted to use as well. I had the idea to put like this particle effect on it, but I kind of suck at Blender when it comes to environmental stuff like that, so I found this tutorial on how to make particles, and it made rendering a nightmare, but it looked pretty neat. The Mr. Boss backgrounds were made by WeThink, who also made the backgrounds for Vox. He went for this kind of abstract, sketchy style that I really love. He showed me some of his background work a while back, and I really liked it, so I had been waiting for the right opportunity to finally get him on something, and this just worked out perfectly. One thing I do when I'm working on a video is add notes for myself on things I want to go back and add later. Some of the early renders I made to show off progress still have some of my notes in there. One idea I knew I wanted to do early on was have a close-up realistic shot of Mr. Boss's gross hand, like those close-ups from the SpongeBob episodes. The way I did it was just by taking a picture of my own hand and then trying to match the details as closely as possible. When it came to the video, I knew I also wanted to mix some AMV in there. I've never really edited AMV before this. I tried a couple times years ago, but never on this scale. Really, the secret to making it look good is this effect in CapCut called Play Pendulum. It gives it this really clean looking subtle rocking effect, and it adds so much to otherwise still footage. Finding a beat for this battle took a little while. I knew I wanted something old school sounding, and David Arcade ended up being the perfect producer for the kind of sound I was looking for. You may have noticed there's not much of a structure to this behind the scenes video. It's mostly just because I wanted an excuse to rattle off interesting facts about the battle. Before I finish off though, just like I did with Granny vs Warden, I wanted to break down some of the lines that may have been a little bit confusing. The first first one I want to focus on is the one I probably saw the most confusion around. Did Vivziepop pop pills before she made your scripts? Anagram of nose candy, take the goddamn pill, imp. I think I did a bit of a poor job wording this one, because some people thought the anagram was supposed to be nose candy. It's a reference to the scene in Smiling Friends where Mr. Boss says, the letters in PIM are switched around to i.m.p, the name of Blitz's company, as well as the class of demon he is in hell and imp. Hi bitch, I'm Blitz, the O is silent, like Spamtopia, you can kiss my eyes, prick. This one was probably pretty obvious, but it's a reference to the scene in the Spamtopia episode of Smiling Friends where Mr. Boss makes out with their leader who has an eyeball for a face. Basically, eyes and ass sound kinda similar when they're pronounced a certain way. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to cover with this one. I know it wasn't as in-depth as Granny or Fox, but that's mostly because there just isn't a whole lot to say here. Don't worry though, some of these battles have a lot to talk about, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching. See ya.